What happens when seniors eat only egg whites? Let me begin with a question that may feel uncomfortably close to home. Have you ever looked at your plate and realized that in your effort to eat healthier, you might actually be starving your body of what it truly needs? For many Americans over 50, the fear of cholesterol, heart disease, and weight gain has pushed us to make food choices that seem wise on the surface but may leave us weaker, more fatigued, and more vulnerable than we realize. And one of the most common examples of this is choosing egg whites only while throwing away the yolks that contain the very nutrients our bodies desperately need as we age. Think about it. You're in your 50s, 60s, or 70s, and you want to protect your heart. For decades, we've been told that egg yolks are dangerous, that they're little cholesterol bombs waiting to clog our arteries. So many of us started separating eggs, whites in the pan, yolks in the trash, and congratulated ourselves for being disciplined. But let me tell you something that might surprise you. For seniors, eating only egg whites could actually do more harm than good. And the deeper you understand this, the more you'll realize that balance, not restriction, is the real secret to healthy aging. Now let's break it down in a way that makes sense. Egg whites are almost pure protein. They're low in calories, they're fat-free, and they contain about 3 grams of protein per egg. On paper, that looks fantastic, especially if you're worried about weight gain or keeping your blood sugar steady. And yes, protein is critical for seniors. After 50, we naturally lose muscle mass, a condition called sarcopenia, which can make us weaker, slower, and more prone to falls. Getting enough protein is one of the best ways to fight back against this. So, on the surface, egg whites seem like the perfect solution: high in protein, low in fat, guilt-free. But here's the part most people don't realize. When you cut out the yolk, you're throwing away more than half the nutrition of the egg. And as a senior, that decision could cost you energy, strength, and even protection against disease. The yolk is where you find vitamin B12, which supports your brain and nervous system. Without enough B12, you may feel tired, forgetful, or even depressed. Many older adults are already at risk for B12 deficiency because our stomachs produce less acid with age, making it harder to absorb from food. If you're only eating egg whites, you're missing one of the most accessible natural sources of this vital vitamin. The yolk is also loaded with choline, a nutrient that plays a role in memory and helps prevent cognitive decline. If Alzheimer's or dementia worries you, as it does for so many families, skipping the yolk might be the last thing you should do. And let's not forget vitamin D. Seniors often struggle with vitamin D deficiency because we spend less time in the sun and our skin produces it less efficiently. Egg yolks are one of the very few foods that naturally contain vitamin D. Without it, your bones become weaker, your immune system suffers, and your mood can take a hit. So while egg whites are good for protein, they don't offer the complete package. It's like buying a car without the engine. It looks nice, but it won't get you very far. And here's something even more powerful to understand. Fat is not your enemy. The healthy fats in egg yolks actually help your body absorb nutrients better, keep your hormones balanced, and give you sustained energy. For seniors, cutting out too much fat can lead to feeling constantly hungry, relying more on carbs and sugars, and ultimately spiking blood sugar, a dangerous cycle for anyone, especially those managing diabetes or prediabetes. You might be wondering, if egg yolks are so nutritious, why were we told for so long to avoid them? The answer lies in outdated science. Decades ago, researchers linked dietary cholesterol with blood cholesterol, assuming that eating foods like eggs directly raised your cholesterol levels. But more recent studies show that for most people, dietary cholesterol has little effect on blood cholesterol. In fact, the bigger culprits for heart disease are trans fats, processed foods, and sugar. The 2015 US dietary guidelines even removed the strict cholesterol limit, acknowledging that eggs can be part of a healthy diet. So, if you're still eating egg whites out of fear, it might be time to rethink that decision. Let me share a story. A close friend of mine, a man in his late 60s, spent years eating egg whites only. He was proud of his discipline, believed he was protecting his heart, and told everyone that yolks were poison. But over time, he noticed his memory slipping. He often felt fatigued, even though he exercised regularly. When he finally saw a doctor, he was diagnosed with low B12 and vitamin D deficiency. The solution wasn't another pill. It was adding the yolks back into his diet. Within months, his energy improved, his mood lifted, and even his doctor admitted that whole eggs had been unfairly demonized. That story is not unique. Many seniors unknowingly deprive themselves of essential nutrients because of outdated fears. Now, does this mean you should eat a dozen whole eggs every day? Of course not. Moderation matters. Too much of anything, even a good thing, can cause problems. But research suggests that for most healthy seniors, one or two whole eggs per day can actually support heart health, brain function, and muscle strength without raising cholesterol to dangerous levels. In fact, eggs may increase your HDL, the good cholesterol, which helps remove excess cholesterol from your bloodstream. Let's also think about the psychological side. Eating only egg whites often comes from a place of fear and restriction, and that mindset can harm your relationship with food. When you constantly cut, avoid, and restrict, you're living in a state of worry instead of nourishment. At this stage of life, food should be a source of joy, strength, and connection. Imagine starting your morning with a beautiful omelet filled with vegetables cooked in a little olive oil, with whole eggs that provide protein, vitamins, and healthy fats. Not only does your body get what it needs, but your mind feels satisfied, your cravings stay under control, and you walk away from the table with energy instead of hunger. This is why I encourage you to pause and ask yourself, are my food choices driven by outdated fears or by real knowledge? If you've been skipping the yolks, maybe it's time to give them another chance. And if you've experienced fatigue, brain fog, or even brittle nails and hair, let this be a reminder that the solution isn't always another supplement. It might be as simple as eating the whole egg again. Of course, everyone's health is unique. If you have a history of heart disease or very high cholesterol, talk to your doctor. But even then, many cardiologists today agree that eggs in moderation are not the enemy we once thought. What matters more is the overall quality of your diet. Are you eating plenty of vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, and healthy fats? Are you staying active, managing stress, and getting enough sleep? Those lifestyle choices have far more impact than whether you include a yolk or two in your breakfast. And here's a practical tip. If you're concerned about calories, you don't have to choose between all whites or all yolks. Try combining them. For example, use 2 whole eggs plus 2 extra whites in your omelet. This way, you get the best of both worlds, ample protein plus the vitamins and healthy fats from the yolks. Balance, not extremes, is what keeps you strong after 50. So let's bring this back to the big picture. Eating only egg whites may seem like the healthier choice, but for seniors, it's often an incomplete choice. You get protein, yes, but you miss out on brain-boosting choline, bone-strengthening vitamin D, energy-supporting B12, and antioxidants like lutein and zeaxanthin that protect your eyes from age-related decline. Whole eggs provide a package of nutrients that work together, and stripping them apart means you lose the synergy. Remember, your body doesn't age in isolation. Your muscles, bones, brain, and heart all rely on one another. When you give your body complete nourishment, you're not just surviving, you're thriving. If this message resonates with you, if you've ever felt confused about whether to eat the yolk or not, leave a comment below and share your story. I'd love to hear your experiences, your fears, and your triumphs. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you want more honest, practical guidance about food and aging. Because let's face it, the world is full of confusing health advice, and together we can cut through the noise to find what really works for people like us, over 50. At the end of the day, the truth about egg whites and egg yolks is about more than just nutrition. It's about freedom from fear, freedom from outdated rules, and freedom to nourish yourself fully. You've earned the right to eat without guilt, to fuel your body with what it actually needs, and to age with strength, clarity, and confidence. So tomorrow morning, when you crack those eggs, don't automatically throw away the yolk. Take a moment to remember that sometimes the part we've been told to fear is actually the part that keeps us alive, vibrant, and thriving. And that's a lesson that goes beyond eggs. It's a lesson about life itself. So here's my challenge to you. This week, try making breakfast with whole eggs. Notice how your body feels, how your energy lasts, and how your mood shifts. Sometimes, small choices can spark big changes. And who knows, the simple act of keeping the yolk might just be the turning point that helps you feel like yourself again, stronger, sharper, and more alive than ever. Aging doesn't have to mean decline. It can mean wisdom, strength, and nourishment, one egg at a time.